Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Reddit Aliens. I'm John, and as always, thank you so much for being here. Good topic, a fun one. Let's do it. All you can eat buffet workers, what are your horror stories? Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Years ago, I worked at an all you can eat country buffet in South Carolina. I was a busboy. One day I went to a table, and it was a mess as per usual. It looked to be a large family or group of families of around 12 people or so. The thing that stuck in my memory is that whenever they had finished with what they were going to eat, they would scrape their plate and use it again. Scrape their plates onto the floor next to their chairs. So, next to each chair, there was a 6-inch to 18-inch pile of chicken bones, crab legs, mashed potatoes, remnants of baked potatoes, etc. Just disgusting. I bus at a slightly nicer restaurant. On Fridays and Sundays, we offer a prime rib and crab leg buffet, among a salad bar, hot and cold entrees, and a dessert bar. It's honestly pretty nice, and our buffet runner keeps anyone from doing ungodly things to the buffet. But the one incident that will always stand out to me was when this family of 5 came in. From the moment they came in to the moment they left, they ate as many crab legs as they possibly could. Their server and I were cleaning plates off as fast as we could, but every time we would return, it seemed like another mountain of crab leg shells would appear in front of each member of that family. I know not how they ate so much, and I honestly can't recall if they are anything besides the crab. Piles upon piles of shells were left upon the table after they left. It was truly a sight to behold. What's more is, after I wiped down the table and came back with settings, I had to go get another rag to wipe the table again because something in the crab leg juice combined with our sanitizer and left a nice milky residue upon the table. Delicious. When I leave this job, I'll never be able to look at crab legs the same way. Not mine, but I had a buddy who was 400 plus pounds, and the dude could put away some food. He went to a casino buffet that was one of the higher end ones that had crab legs and steak. On about his fourth or fifth plate, stacked full of crab legs, the manager came out and gave him $250 in free slot play to leave the buffet. A woman came in with 2 of her kids and had a pretty regular meal. You pay when you leave at our place, and she decided to sneak out with her younger daughter before paying, leaving her underage son alone at the table. We caught on pretty quick and sent someone after her, who found her in her car in the parking garage, waiting for her son to come as well. She refused to come back in and pay, so we had to keep her son hostage until the police came to handle the situation. What some people will do to their kids, I swear. My first job was as a dishwasher in an all-you-can-eat fried catfish buffet. People are animals, especially the ones that get far more food off the buffet than they can eat. Then they take the leftovers and pile them on a plate or tray, cover in ketchup and tartar sauce, then pour their iced tea over the top of all of that. A lot of people did that, got at least 2 plates like that a night. Went as a customer to a Golden Corral. I'm walking to the chocolate fountain, and 3 little girls step in front of me, and all 3 of them just go hands deep in the fountain. The family was the first table by the fountain, and all they did was laugh about how cute it was. Employees turned it off immediately. I mean, if you allow your children to do things like that, what are people going to think that you do when no one's looking? At one point, myself and 2 other family members worked at a Golden Corral, each in different sections, because small towns don't have a lot of job options for high school or college kids. I worked in the bakery, which was surprisingly low in horror stories, other than the chaos that remained after a large group of children came through. My brother worked the steak station. He got these regulars that would tip him pretty well if he would prepare blue steaks for them. The very idea of ordering blue steaks from a buffet makes me gag. My cousin worked the salad bar. Management would require her to keep seafood items on the bar for long after the point where they'd be safe to consume. I think the record was chilled shrimp for Mother's Day that stayed for over a week and a half. Ugh. They finally caved and let her toss them when a customer complained about the smell. Watched a man at the Ponderosa walk up to the buffet without a plate, untuck his t-shirt, pull the hem up to form a basket, reach into the steam tray of chicken wings with his bare hand, and just load up on hot wings in his makeshift shirt bucket. The woman in the kitchen was like, "Please, sir, could you use a plate or just tongs?" Guy scoffed and looked at her like she'd ask him to don a tuxedo. Not a buffet, but I worked at a pizza parlor that offered a lunch buffet of endless pizza. The lunch ran from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. This gentleman comes in. I think he was homeless. He serves up a sky-high plate of pizza and just goes to town. He stayed from the beginning to the very end to make sure he got his money's worth. Well, his body didn't appreciate being stuffed like a piñata of pizza. He got up, waddled fast to the bathroom, and next thing I know, I'm being told he had liquid shit trailing behind him to the bathroom and inside the bathroom. I was informed by my boss about the incident. I told him I was just heading out for a break. I was not about to clean that up. Not an employee, but a customer. A long time ago, my mom and I picked up a friend of hers and we went to a local Chinese food buffet. This place had a thing where you could get a pound of food for $5 in a takeout container instead of sitting and eating at the restaurant if you want. So that was our plan. The three of us were browsing around the buffet line with our takeout containers, adding what we wanted to them. And then I noticed my mom's friend doing something effing disgusting. He was eating a chicken wing, like right in front of the buffet line, hiding his face behind his takeout container, and then he took the chicken bone and put it back in the buffet tray. Ugh. I walked over to my mom and told her what he was doing, and at first she thought I was joking. So she walked over towards him, and now he was standing there, eating a slice of watermelon right off the buffet, and then putting the rind back in the tray. So my mom was like, "What the are you doing?" And he's like, "Don't worry, I do this all the time. They'd never notice." So of course, both me and mom are panicking, worried that they're going to call the cops or something because of this dipshit. We basically pretended to not know him, and continued to fill up our containers the right way. After a couple of minutes, one of the employees walks up to my mom and tells her that they noticed what the guy was doing, and they noticed that we were also uncomfortable about it and didn't intend to blame us. But they warned her if she doesn't get him to pay for the food in his container and leave immediately, they'll be calling the police. So of course, mom tells him that we need to go now, and he just brushes it off like, "I don't care, they're not going to do anything." Well, me and mom walked up to the front, paid for our containers, apologized, and walked out and left him in there. A minute later, you can see and hear shouting with the staff. He throws his container on the ground, and food splatters everywhere. He storms out, shouting insults as he leaves, and of course gives them a "I'm never coming back," to which they reply, "You're not allowed in here no more, we'll call the cops." So we're standing out by the car, waiting for him. Of course, we yell at him for being a piece of shit. We get in the car, and the next thing you know, this mother starts pulling chicken wings and Chinese donuts out of his effing pockets and eating them. We dropped him off at home and never spoke to him again. Not an employee or a customer, but we had a Chinese buffet shut down for health code violation, which was employee was cutting veggies while taking a shit. To this day, I still wonder if that means dude brought a bucket into the kitchen or veggies into the shitter, and I honestly don't know which is worse. I think that guy took the old adage, shit or get off the pot, quite literally. Ugh. Not a worker, but I went to Hometown Buffet, and the kid in front of me was slightly shorter than the buffet bar. He had his hands in the yellow Jello, just massaging it. Then his mom came by and snatched him away, but didn't say anything, while the guy came and made himself a bowl of Jello. 10-year-old me was too appalled to say anything. I haven't eaten Jello since then. I worked at a Ruby Tuesday in Center City, Philly, first floor of the Liberty Place building. I know it. I had a couple that would come in about twice a week that requested me. They would gorge themselves at the salad bar for about an hour, ask for large glasses of water with no ice, then both would take the water into the bathroom. They would come out a few minutes later with empty glasses, ask for the check, and leave. I finally put it together that they were bulimic after I walked in the woman's bathroom and it smelled like vomit. Very polite folks and tipped well, though. I was once at an old country buffet, waiting patiently to get some mac and cheese. The kid in front of me piled his plate high and then started tapping the serving spoon to get all the cheesy goodness free from the confines of the spoon. Once he was satisfied with his handiwork, he licked the spoon clean. I didn't have any mac and cheese, and haven't been back since. I didn't work at an all-you-can-eat buffet, but my sister did. The buffet itself was on the first floor, so you had to take either the stairs or the elevator to your seat. Once there was a lady who was carrying a tray with a whole lot of stuff on it down, glasses, plates, and a whole lot more junk. My sister asked the lady if she needed any assistance, to which the lady replied, "You assume because I'm fat, I need help?" My sister didn't react. A few seconds later, the lady fell down the stairs. There was blood and food everywhere. I had a coworker that briefly managed a Ryan's buffet. He said that it was fairly common for people to gorge themselves and purge in the restroom and start eating again so they could get their money's worth. So I work in an all-you-can-eat using tablets. This is, according to my boss, based on a Japanese kind of restaurant. We serve mostly Asian food, from Chinese to Japanese and even some Korean. The premise is that people order their food in rounds, and we bring them the food to their table when it is ready. We always warn customers beforehand that if they leave food behind because they ordered too much, they will have to pay extra, depending on what they left behind. We've seen people try the weirdest stuff if it comes to not paying extra. People dumping food in their handbags, to people shoving it in their mouths, then going to the toilet and flush it, to putting hair on it and blaming us for it. We see them pull this stuff, etc. And when we actually catch them doing it, they blame us for it and refuse to pay. Some people let it come down to the police to sort it out sometimes. There have been multiple occasions on which they were involved to solve the problems for just €5. I guess some people's greed has no extent. College friend worked at a Chinese buffet. He said they caught a regular dipping his pizza in the wonton soup bowl, like in the queue, and not at his table and eating it. Bite, dip, bite, dip, bite, dip. After the fourth time in a month he did it, management finally kicked him out. Not a worker, but I once saw a grown man have a childlike meltdown over the fact that he showed up to soup plantation too late and missed out on the biscuits and gravy. Not a worker, but I was at a Chinese buffet with a hot pot option that you had to pay extra for. There was a separate section with the stuff for that, which was raw. This guy loaded up his plate with all this raw stuff and was eating it, including dangerous raw stuff like shrimp. I think he may have been slightly intellectually disabled. The Chinese staff had to come over and inform him that he was eating the wrong things and try to explain it to him. He got really embarrassed and said that he did not understand how it worked. Between the Chinese staff with their limited English and this poor guy who had not and was not capable of really understanding what he had done was wrong. It was one of those awkward moments in life that you cannot forget no matter how much you try.